Governors are also going to be delivering the State of the County addresses to the various county assemblies. Governor Johnson Sakaja has not yet done that to the Nairobi City County Assembly. We'll hear when he's going to do that. But first, we are going to have a conversation with the people who are the accounting officers in various departments, the chief officers. These are the PSs in the county. We have the PS for markets and trade, for revenue administration, for urban planning and development, the PS for lands, they call it chief officers. We also have a director for trade licensing here, but let them introduce themselves, and so we can get in the conversation. And I'll start with you, Cecilia.
Cecilia Koigu, Chief Officer Lands, Nairobi City County.
Chief Officer Lands, what do you do at Lands?
My main role is to oversee the land management, which includes surveying of the county schemes like Umoja, Kayore, and others, and also ensure that these people who are allotted by the county government also get their leases and titles, and also oversee the letting process, the entering of the data in the valuation roll, and rates management. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. A lot to talk about in the lands. Next.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Analo, Chief Officer, Urban Development and Planning. Urban Development and Planning entails development control of the built environment within the city of Nairobi. It also involves improving the urban form of the city of Nairobi, the schemes that we see that inform development of non-motorized transport, the walkways within the central business district, the streetscape in terms of landscaping and design. We also have an input even in the current government housing program in terms of master planning for affordable social housing to ensure that we have sustainable and harmonious urban neighborhoods. Okay. And I'm very happy to be on this show today to discuss that.
Asante.
Hi, viewers, good morning. My name is Tiras Njoroge. I'm the County Chief Officer for Revenue Administration. And Latif, from the onset, I would want to thank Nairobians for supporting this government. And because over 90% of the revenues we collect are actually from people who do that voluntarily. So we are grateful for making our work easy. And we also assure you that those revenues are going into providing services that my colleagues are talking about here. Thank you.
You're the money bugs. Okay.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Jen Wangui. I'm the County Chief Officer in charge of markets and trade. In markets and trade, we have 4 directorates. We are the people who deal with everything to do with trade in Nairobi. And we know most of us are trade business people. We deal with also industrialization, that is industries, investments, that's one of our mandates. And then we are charged with markets, both physical and virtual markets. We also do the trade licensing. Those are the business permits that you have in your businesses. And we also address weights and measures. Thank you. Okay. I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Johnson Akonga Wuri. I'm the Director of Trade Licensing. In trade licensing, we issue trade licenses to people who do business within the jurisdiction of Nairobi City County Government. And we developed what we call unified business permits for ease of doing business in Nairobi. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. It's a good mix that we have of the various service providers in the Nairobi City County. And we'll hear from what each one of you has been doing. And of course, very many people will be raising their concerns. You can do that on our social media handles and also on our live stream on YouTube at NTV Kenya or NTV Kenya on Facebook, NTV Kenya on X. If you've got any question, any concern about Nairobi, or even if you have something that you say, actually this has worked for me in Nairobi, say it. It's also good sometimes to give people flowers when they are there and they can receive them. I want to start, Mariam, before you come and ask a question, with the revenue collector, because he's the one who collects the revenue that then affords us all these services. But also he's the one who actually receives the revenue. When we pay land rates for Cecilia, when we pay the trade licenses and all, they all go to Mr. Tiras. When you the proper zakayo. Right? Mtoza ushuru. I look at how much you boast to be collecting in Nairobi, and I use that word boast deliberately because you say, we've collected the highest amount of taxes in the last financial year ever in this county. How much was it again?
13.8.
13.8 billion shillings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had promised the people of Nairobi in the county assembly that you were going to collect how much at the beginning of that financial year?
Actually, 20B.
Okay.
Yes.
So you went to people of Nairobi and said, we can collect 20 billion shillings.
Yes.
You collected 13.8 billion shillings.
Yeah.
Why?
As I said, first of all, I want to thank the people who actually come out and make payments willingly, without follow-up and all that. But we still have a number of people. I know you have heard the governor talk about this, that, for example, when you come to land rates, which is the biggest tax that we are meant to get from the citizens, we are performing at probably 20-30% of our potential. Because out of 250,000 plots or so, you only find around only 50,000 people making payment. And that's why we actually are making an appeal on a social justice aspect around it, that you need to be able to support your government, all of you, to ensure that not just a few people that are coming out to make payments and support the services that they're expecting for everyone. And that is one of the main areas. We have tried to come out with adverts. We have tried to actually and ensure we are very persuasive to the people. But we know we are going to get there. We will keep sending this message out to Nairobians that you need to be able to support us to give you these services. And the problem sometimes is that you actually find that the persons in the lower cadres of the socio-economic aspects are the ones who are coming out faster to make these payments. So I'm not really trying to start any class, but then that has been a challenge for us, and we are hoping to be able to solve it. We're also trying to just make it easier for people to make payment, so that if it is that may be the problem, then you are going to be able to come out. We have digitized all these processes. Johnson has said we did UBP to ensure that you're able to pay for 6 or 7 permits together without having to go up and down the stairs of City Hall. So, yeah, those are the challenges, but we're sure we're going to get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
before we go on to the next person, I have to ask, with Nairobi County, what's the biggest revenue bringer? It's terrible English, but you understand me.
Yeah.
Yes, where do you collect the most revenue from? Yeah. And where was there the most potential, but we're not collecting?
The biggest revenue earner is land rates.
Yes.
Yeah, everything is on the land. Cecilia will tell you, undio mama yao. So, land rates, and it also has the highest potential. Where we are doing maybe 3.5 billion, we should be able to do, on average every year, somewhere to do with 13 billion per year. So that has, again, the highest potential to grow. And again, the beauty about land is that even in the aspects of valuation, is about that value of your land, and a very small percentage, 0.115% is what you're expected to pay on your land rates. We still have other areas that we are exploring. I know Analo will talk about regularization. We want Nairobians to be comfortable with the homes they own, that they are safe. We also want them to be able to use their homes as even a collateral or anything of the sort. So those who have not regularized, he's going to talk more about that program. So that is again another area that we believe has a potential of bringing in another 5 or 6 billion within a single financial year.
There's something that I'm still stuck at, that the biggest potential for revenue collection in Nairobi is land and land rates. Yeah. Land is physical, okay? It's immovable. It's not like a trader where Jen can say, there was a trader here and tomorrow I didn't find the trader. The land that was there is there. 250,000 plots marked by Cecilia in Nairobi, only 50,000 of them paying. The other 150, you know where they are. Why aren't they paying? I mean, it's not like they were left last night and they didn't come back this morning.
Good question. And I think we would say there is some laxity at times in making these payments. But we have tried to actually map again through them and through evaluation role that is GIS based, and map each and every of these plots. At some point during the year, you saw us visit quite a number of them, and we are going to continue in doing this. But also remember, Nairobi is a county where people who own land are from everywhere. Mtu alienda na akarudi huko kwetu Murang'a na akaacha plot hapa. But then again, we now have the new National Rating Act, which provides a bit of an easier manner of collecting land rates. For example, now it redefines the aspect of who is a rateable owner. Before then, you being the rateable owner, you had to be that owner mwenye akona makaratasi yake na title. But then now this one goes on to define even that individual who is within that property at that time now is a rateable owner. So I'm now able to come to Latif. I'm now able to come to Latif and tell him, you know, this property you are on has not been paying land rates. Yes, and so
I am not the title deed holder.
So if you're paying rent, now you start paying rent to me. That is the county until we can recover our land rates.
That
because
is
how do I get that person?
Incredibly punitive. So me as a renter, now I pay land rates on behalf of my landlord who is not paying land rates. Walk me through that.
No. You'll just not pay rent to the landlord and then you redirect that to here. Because where am I going to get that person who has a land here and lives in Marsabit? And you're the one who is actually doing beneficial business and sending your money back home.
This guy from Marsabit will come with a padlock and say I haven't paid rent because I gave my money to Nairobi County Government because they didn't pay land rates. So this is officially a policy now of Nairobi of Nairobi County.
That's the National Rating Act.
The National Rating Act
2024.
It's the national law.
Yes.
That allows
says that.
Yes.
So what's the process? Maybe, and actually take the opportunity now that you brought it up, talk to the tenants.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if Kanjo comes and says, when do tumekupata?
Yeah.
Wapi rate?
Yeah.
I know I pay rent to my landlord. Here is my transaction. Here are my transactions.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell me? That kwanzia kesho uanza kulipa hapa?
So
without any direct communication with the person that I pay rent to?
No, you know, when we come, of course, we are cordial. It's not like that's the aspect around it.
Kanjo.
But when, I think people have gotten stuck to the old Kanjo. When you come to our customer service, you will find some young men and women there. The way they'll smile at you, Latif, you'll spend 30 minutes
those
just wanting to get...
Those are the
ones who find me as a tenant, walk me through. So what are they supposed to tell me? And how am I going now to do this?
Yeah, so the moment the landlord has not paid for land rates, and we come and you're the tenant. So the first thing is that we are going to, of course, inform you the amount that the landlord owes Nairobi City County. And we are also going now to discuss with you the amount of rent that you pay, because we are not coming in to increase rent or anything of the sort, but we are coming in now to take over as an agent. And then, so now going forward, then we are going to give you how you're going to make the payment to Nairobi City County and how we are going to reconcile that amount until you have paid out all the land rates. And then the moment you pay out all the land rates, then you continue with your relationship with the landlord. Remember, on that same land, the county is giving you services. The county is giving you services on water. You have a business licensing, that you have aspects around public health and all that the county is giving you. So you have all those services. So it is one option to either deny the services or just get money from you and you continue thriving and you continue doing your business.
We'll go to a break, Tiras. But all those services you're talking about, as a tenant doing business in that building, I'm paying for them. Through the Unified Business Permit. Okay, that Jane and Johnson have developed. So I'm already paying for the services. You can't tell me that because my landlord is not paying rent, I'm not paying for the services. No. But let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue. And we want to understand also what the other departments are doing, to make service delivery easier, more efficient, and also to look at the city of the future, and that's where urban planning comes in. We are having a conversation about the state of Nairobi City County. We have several chief officers, that's PSAs, or the accounting officers in the various departments in Nairobi. We have Cecilia Koigu, she is the Chief Officer for Lands, Patrick Analo, Chief Officer for Urban Planning and Development, Tiras, Wainaina, Revenue Administration, Jane Wangui for Markets and Trade, and the Director for Trade Licensing, Johnson Akongo. We'll be back in a moment. It's a simple, and you're all tech savvy in Nairobi, lazima you work, and so on and so forth, to me in the video.
Yes.
Right? And you say that. I want to sample some of the comments that we have. We have Jose, some county wardrobes have complained that the car parking system is not run by Nairobi County. Can they clean the air on this issue? You know who will answer that. You know yourself. I'm not looking at you. Spensit, question to urban planner. What's the process of applying for approvals? How many floors can one go up in different areas of the county? And are there potential changes to go higher? Also, how many floors can one go up in Westlands, Upper Hill, ameongeza mpaka Syokimau? And what, Syokimau is in Machakos, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what is the build ratio allowed on the land? How are you supporting development with infrastructure development like sewer, roads, and so on and so forth? Dan Kemu says, I'm happy the way Nairobi City is really advertising its services. However, our common enemy is the corruption, poor planning, and replanning each time with strategies that barely work. How are you going to deal with this? Sitaki Mapepe, why do we have far too many traffic marshals photocopying the role of traffic police while you have few garbage collectors? Is a money factor, especially from PSVs, playing a role here. Bakari Sanya says, does Nairobi County need a court order to compel tenants to share contractual details between them and the landlord? And what plans to support other road users besides drivers? Yeah, so non-motorized transport and also to wheelers like bikes. Are there plans to provide a central point for travel in the CBD to reduce congestion? All these questions, I think the urban planner will come and talk to later. Maybe we can just start this one before we just get out of you, Bona CEO, Revenue Administration. Does Nairobi County need a court order to compel a tenant to share contractual details with the landlord in this new law that you're quoting?
Actually, in our experience so far, we have had very cooperative tenants. They have been able to just share because they know they don't want to pay beyond what they are paying to the landlord. But if that be the case, then we also have that option of going to the court. But Nairobians are good, and in most cases they'll tell you what they pay and then they'll call the landlord. Ujue kutoka kesho tunaanza kulipa kanjo rent, and then in most cases the landlords will always come out. So we have not yet experienced that, but that's an option in the law. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know whether there's another you need to take.
I think it's been answered. I still am I think the number of laws that go through, I'm fascinated by this concept of paying kanjo rent because your landlord is not paying land rates. I do understand that land is the biggest one, and we'll come back to you, Tiras, in a little bit. But a lot of the questions were also around urban planning, and that's what I want to get into next with Patrick. The Nairobi that is behind you guys on the screen, that's Nairobi from above. It's stunning. It's beautiful at night, during the day. Wow, Ukiwa Expressway, beautiful. There are people who enter JKIA Expressway, wanaingia Westlands, na wanarudi hivo, and that's the only Nairobi they see. Kwa ground, vitu ni different. So those questions around urban planning are very pertinent. I'll start with the history. Nairobi was planned for how many people, and what urban planning has gone on since then, and then what's the future? Then we can address a lot of these urban planning questions that are coming through on the comments. But let's start from the history. Nairobi, it was meant to be for how many people, and what we've done since, and what we're doing in the future.
Yeah, thank you for that very useful question. I think let me start by saying this city, at the time when it was declared as a municipality, around 1948, we had less than 200,000 people living in the city. Almost half of that population were non-indigenous people, meaning the colonialists, the Europeans. We had the Asian population, and then a small population of the indigenous people, the Africans, who mainly their work was to, their presence in the city was mainly to render to render services to the colonial population in some of the estates that you are now seeing being brought down in Makongeni. They had been brought here to work in the industrial area. We had our first city plan, city master plan, around that period in 1948. And the philosophy in that plan, actually the theme was towards a colonial African city. The colonialists at that time had identified Nairobi as a very good place to settle and coordinate their activities within the East African region, that is Uganda, Tanzania, and beyond. So they wanted to establish a colonial city here in Nairobi, mainly based on racial lines. So you have the upper areas of the city, the high areas of the city were set aside for the white or the colonial population, and this includes areas like Karen, Lavington, Muthaiga, Gigiri, and Runda. And then the eastern part of the city, which is low-lying, was set aside for the indigenous population. Fortunately, Kenya got independence in 1963, and that changed things. The infrastructure that had been put in place to accommodate 200,000 people had now to accommodate a growing population, because at independence, we had more people now being allowed to move from the countryside into the city of Nairobi. The Kipande system was abolished. Remember, before 1963, you would walk with a piece of timber around your neck, which later on was upgraded, but still, rather, you would have to identify yourself, where do you come from. Literally, the Kenyan population was not needed in the city of Nairobi. You needed permits in order to come to the city. So 1963, we had the population, the local population, the Kenyan population now coming into the city. The country is independent, and this is our capital city. So significantly, we started seeing the city grow. And in 1976, I think almost like 8 years after independence, we had the first plan towards a metropolitan growth strategy for the city of Nairobi. That plan is one which proposed the construction of some of the major infrastructure you see we are doing now. The bypass is in that metropolitan growth strategy. The expressways were envisaged in that metropolitan growth strategy. The growth strategy also indicated that we were to prepare detailed area plans for the 5 major districts of Nairobi, you know, the Westlands, the Karen, the Embakasi, and the Central Business District. But unfortunately, those detailed area plans or the district plans were not prepared. So I would say almost 40% of the growth strategy of 1976 was implemented. I think the other significant step in terms of planning of the city, which I need to mention on this show, is the 2013 Nairobi Integrated Urban Development Plan, which we also call the new plan. The new plan looked at a rapidly growing city. It actually projected by 2025, or the time now we are seated here, the city's population will have grown up to 5 million people. And the number of areas, the number of issues new plan addressed, the issue of infrastructure expansion, particularly public transport. The plan actually recommends that we must invest heavily in mass public transport. And that's why you see we have the current program by national government and county government to invest in BRT, bus rapid transit, to minimize the dependence on what we call the paratransit, the matatus. The plan also has addressed the issues of expansion of water reticulation and sewer, which significantly is being addressed by the county government and the national government, the completion of the Northern Collector 1, the Northern Collector 2. And then the new plan also speaks to the need to provide for housing, particularly for the middle income, the urban poor. And that, again, is being addressed through the current program of urban renewal, by the city of Nairobi, and at the national government level, we have the affordable housing program. I think beyond 2013-2030 plan, we have kicked off, His Excellency the Governor has kicked off the process of preparation of a plan for Nairobi, which he has dubbed Nairobi 2050. Basically, we are projecting to have a plan in place that can drive the city for the next 35 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I want to ask so many questions. Where do the boroughs fit into that? The governor has talked about that.
Yeah,
and,
so...
yes, maybe start with that one. And then
yeah, so boroughs is a system of governance, you know, in a devolved structure or form of government. It's not new to Nairobi, or rather to Kenya. It has worked elsewhere. For example, in Canada and quite a number of cities in the West have a borough system of management. And basically what His Excellency the Governor has done, in order to improve coordination and delivery of strategic services in the city of Nairobi, for example, response to emergency services, fire engines, or issues of waste management, issues of markets, as my colleague here will talk about. We have clustered sub-counties. You know, the Constitution recognizes sub-counties, but we have clustered a number of sub-counties and given them a borough as a single unit of coordination of government services. We hope that, we believe this is going to work, and we hope that once it works, then it can be fully entrenched in law. But yes, it's a very, very modern way of managing urban governance. It has worked elsewhere, and we believe it can also work for the city of Nairobi.
Okay. Eric, I know you want to chime in. Oh.
Just to chime in on boroughs.
Okay.
You know, there's what you call the Urban Areas and Cities Act. And in most of the rural counties, you find now they have municipals. You go to Kiambu, you have like 7 of them and all that. Yeah. Now in Nairobi, if you were to bring that concept here, you would probably have CBD having like 5 municipals and all that. You would probably have over 100 of them. But then these areas are done in that place because you realize the need to bring services closer to the people in that manner. Okay. So in Nairobi, instead of going that route, by virtue of, you know, is whereby you have Kenya being more of a rural country, but Nairobi being a fully urban city, almost 100%. So that's concept for you to be able to bring services closer to the people. That's why we now have that borough system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before we let you, there's a lot of questions around urban planning, but we'll just go systematically with each of your dockets. How many buildings in Nairobi meet, you know, our building regulations as per your inspection? And what's the plan as far as safety is concerned? Obviously getting into the issue of demolitions, but also collapses and things like that. So how many buildings are safe and do meet building regulation in Nairobi as per your inspections, and what's the plan for those that don't?
Thank you so much. So related to the first question which you asked, the place of urban planning and the city, and I'll be addressing the issue of regionalization. So as the city evolved, the planned area, remember I had talked about a colonial city. The planned areas of the city, including, you know, Karen, Muthaiga, Runda, Gigiri, they benefited by having very clear land use plans, district plans to guide developments. But the African areas of the city, the eastern part of the city, if you allow me to use the original Embakasi, were rather neglected by the colonial government. And they were the areas that we had social housing. The Makongenis, you see, the Ziwani, the Kaloleni, and so on and so forth. So this has continued to affect the city in the sense that most of the illegalities we have, the challenges we have are mostly in those parts of the city. But in terms of compliance to building regulations, going by our census, I would give it that we are at 86% in terms of compliance to building code, compliance to the Physical and Land Use Planning Act, combining both the informal settlements and the planned settlements of of our city, we are at 86%. Yes.
You know, I have a comment here from Biwot who says, planning A, implementation E minus. Is there an E minus? Or there's an F. So there must be an E, E plus, E, E minus.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm just listening to the plan, and yes, talking about that, just even if we don't go beyond the 1976. 1976 plan says this is what we ought to do for this city. We have to start thinking about the bypasses, we start thinking about how to manage the traffic. The new plan talks about as well, how do you manage a city that is, it was planning for 5 million.
Yes.
We are 7, right?
Yeah.
So we're already more than the plan. But you say we're already starting to think of the next plan.
Yes.
Because atuja implement mass rapid transport 0. What else have you talked about? Water provision. We have been hearing the story of the Nairobi Collector Tunnel, Northern Collector Tunnel, 1, 2, for long. People are still bucketing in Nairobi. The other thing that you talked about, you know, housing for urban poor. That's why the residents are actually saying planning, it sounds a beautiful plan. I'd like to be in that Nairobi. But then they wake up and they step out and they say E minus. Why?
Yeah, so planning is a process that is a complete cycle. You conceptualize and you have to conceptualize with the people. There's the public participation, there's the technical input, then the plan preparation, which is a blueprint. That is phase 1. The second phase is budgeting and funding. And I think there appears to be a generally big problem in our country in terms of funding blueprint plans. You know that the devolution laws that we have require that every budget proposals must be approved by county assemblies. And unfortunately for the city of Nairobi, for quite some time, I would say that since 2013, at the advent of devolution, urban planning has not been very fortunate to attract requisite funding to implement the relevant plans that we have. But again, one goes deep and interrogate the reasoning of the policymakers. If you have to set aside, let's say, 360 million to prepare a spatial plan for the city of Nairobi, the elected leaders reason that my people, they tell you that the people who have elected me want to see the markets. If you tell them that you spend 360 million to do a spatial plan that can guide the city, they are not very keen to really look at that. They want the most immediate things. My people want the markets, they want the dispensaries, they want the ECD. So that's the challenge that we have. But I want to say that there are things which are happening.
Am I hearing you to say that the professionals at City Hall would like to do things professionally, but the residents of Nairobi would like to do things with mediocrity?
To see markets.
No, that's not what I
said.
say.
The professionals are saying, I'd like to plan for markets, for roads, for toilets, for sewer systems, but then the MCAs are coming and telling you, the residents of Nairobi want to run a market. And you have no way of bridging that knowledge into what you may translate as mediocrity. Because the result is mediocrity.
What I was trying to say, our annual budget projection is about 40 billion Kenya shillings for the city of Nairobi to function properly. Tiras, as I just told you, we raise almost less than half. And you have to make with that half. So if you have budgeted for 40 billion, inside there we have a budget for urban planning, we have a budget for lands, we have a budget for roads, we have a budget for garbage collection, we have a budget for buying medicine, we have a budget for schools. Obviously, just like a family, you are between a rock and a hard place. You find yourself having to meet the most immediate things. And I say because we go to the county assembly and we ask, what is the reason that our plans have not been funded? And the explanation you get is that, we have medicine that we had to buy in this facility, and that has been considered to be urgent. I don't think that is something that can be wished away. So what I'm saying is that we really have to work so hard as a city to match the needs of the city with the budgeting and in terms of revenue, resource mobilization. Latif, let me mention, we had actually secured funding from the US Congress. By now, we would actually be preparing 5 plans. But unfortunately, the change of government in the US led to that particular facility being suspended, which took us back to the drawing board, requiring that we have to get funding from within the internal resources that you have.
We were literally just with the chargé d'affaires, the acting ambassador for the US, and iyo maneno siko shwaka inarudi, so we have to be self-sufficient.
Mjipange.
Tujipange.
Raise a bond.
To the bond. We're just about to go on a short break, but I do want to come and talk about other matters, trade, talk about the markets, to talk about lands again, because I think we still have quite a bit to cover as far as that's concerned. Before that, though, Nairobi, lazima iwak. I see you all have the tap to eat bracelet. Yeah. That's, it's a standard for anybody who works in Nairobi County. I want to know, did you walk here from City Hall? Mengia gari? From City Hall?
Our office is just 5 minutes.
Okay, you walked. That's good. Because the walkability of Nairobi is another big thing that it needs to be discussed. I would have been very worried if, kama mlipanda gari kutoka City Hall hadi hapa. But let's take a short break. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. We'll be right back. Do call in as well. The number will be at the bottom of your screen, 0719-038-858. I repeat, 0719-038-858. Your questions for Nairobi County Government. We'll be right back.
Today, we are not asking what the future of Nairobi, we are taking stock. Where are we on the plan of this executive whose governor went to the streets to campaign and said, I want to restore order to this city, and I want to bring cleanliness, and I want to make it easier for people to trade. One of the things that they talked about is, the unified business permit. We'll talk about trade shortly, but one of the pain points that we have in the city is the issue of land. And the Chief Officer for Land is here, Cecilia. Cecilia, at lands, there are many things. One, land, people constantly complaining that they are being thrown out of their land. Leases have expired. They have tried to go and renew the lease. They, first of all, did not receive the requisite notice, reminding them that their lease is about to expire and giving them the right to apply for renewal. Secondly, then at the point when they realize that their lease is about to expire or has expired, they go to the county, they find no records. The next thing, there are people who have been sent and they look like goons and they're actually coming to demolish your house and kicking you out. We have seen very many of such cases in the city. What's the problem?
Thank you. I think I would just want to bring this on board. And thank you for this show, because from today people will understand their rights. In August, we did publish a notice on the expiry of leases jointly with the National Land Commission, because you see currently if a land expires lease, it reverts back to the government. And the government, as per Constitution 2010, it is Nairobi City County Government. However, the owner of that title always have the benefits of preemptive rights. It cannot be allocated to anybody else unless it is proved this person is nowhere to be found. So I think what I would inform Nairobians is one to note, if you have a lease with yourself, check the expiry date. There is always a room, even if it is 10 years after, you always start the preemptive rights to get your land back. But it is the initiative of the owner of that title to initiate the process of renewal or extension. We normally advise that you try to do extension before it is 5 years. But however, if the 5 years pass, you can always do a renewal. And the process of renewal is you apply to the National Land Commission, or if not be, you can also apply to the CCM in charge of lands in the Nairobi County. This person is going to fill all the relevant information, do the due diligence, and we will recommend for the lease to be renewed back to you. And this is done through our technical planning committee. I would want to dispute the issue of you don't get records. I think that could happen in a few, but people should also take the initiative for what is yours. Because if you sit there and you have an expired lease and somebody comes and doesn't find you, they may assume you are gone. And the Constitution is very clear. The land is supposed to be active and can be reallocated. So let's be proactive and make sure that we check the issue of our leases. How do we know that? In every lease, you look at the top left, there is always an indication, the term of lease, starting this year to this year. Particularly most of the ones we could be referring, Packard, Pagani, these are titles that were issued back in 1924. The expiry date is almost uniform, 2003 to 2004. So if you have such a title with you, just come to our offices, and I'm sure we will be able to renew for you. And we promise that the issue of goons is going to slow down, because my office have started the initiative of notifying people. We are coming to the ground, visiting, doing such, and notifying people. Your lease is about to expire, please connect with our office so that it can be renewed. If your lease is expired completely, you come to our office for renewal and you apply, because an application has to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
250,000 plots in Nairobi, right? Are these all leasehold, or are there some that are freehold?
In Nairobi, we have two tenant ownership tenures. We have the leasehold and we have the freehold. And all the leasehold and the freehold, they are rateable. The leasehold, we have like CBD, Eastrad. The freehold, we have Karen, Lavington, Dome, but still they pay rates. But however, what I would want to request Nairobians, we may not have done much to map out who has a title within Nairobi, and we call upon you to come to our offices with your copies of the title so that we can be able to enter you in the valuation roll. The moment we recruit you in our valuation, that's the time you become rateable. That's a process also we are trying now to start mapping, and this is going to be enhanced due to the decentralization of service through the barrows. Yeah, we have the...
Is there no easier way to do that in collaboration with the National Land Commission, with someone else? All this data is available elsewhere, as opposed to me coming with my title.
Why I say you come with your title, because if we are not able to get your data from the national government, it is also good if you have a title and you are not treated, take the personal initiative. It is either, as we are maximizing on getting data from the national government, we could also get the same data from you. Because you know yourself, I've not been paying rates. It's my title within the valuation of Nairobi City County. So it's both. It's to help. It's we work in collaboration. The title holder, the national government, and everybody else, so that when you pay tax, you are able to audit the same government. Because if you don't pay any tax, how do you audit? You don't get a load. Why would you get it and you're not paying? That's where I'm coming from. It needs a collaborative process. Yeah. The other thing I would also want to tell Nairobians is about the migration of the titling process. We have migrated from RTA titles to RLE. That is recently the CS went through that process of migration. We'd request everybody to convert their titles.
What does that mean, Cecilia?
Yeah, we are changing the registration system for unification and also for control on those issues you are talking about, double allocation. I can explain about a bit. When you have RTA, you have a deed plan. You register that title. When you have an RIM, it can still register because there are two different numbers. An RIM, you have a parcel number. A deed plan, you have an error number. Those are two different identities on parcel information. And that could be causing a lot of the double titling. However, I don't see it is mean, because the producer of those records is the director or survey. But you see, with the people, the fraud editors, they use the opportunity that they can get to defraud people they are at. So I think I would request people to convert their titles and also to ensure their titles are in the Adisasa system. Because it's also, people take it like a comfort. Once I get my title, I assume automatically it is in the Adisasa system. It will take the initiative of that individual to enumerate your title, to collect and to communicate with the title in the Adisasa system. There is a tutorial in the YouTube that shows you how you can add your title to the Adisasa system for you to enable you any transaction on that.
Hey. Cecilia, what's your profession? You're a surveyor?
Yes, I'm a surveyor. Okay,
so you understand all these things. To the rest of us, we just know kafuroti, right? These others are details. Now I'm hearing I have to migrate. If I don't put it in Adisasa, I'm exposing myself to fraudsters. But my land is gone just by sitting here and just hearing all these things. How is the Nairobi City County creating awareness? You know your pieces of land. Like I said, they are immovable. They are there. How have you reached out to the landowners to create awareness to them and tell them, for example, we are migrating the registration system, the titling system, and this is what you need to do. We are going to open, an office here. You can come between Monday and Thursday for the next 3 weeks, and let's sort out this area, and so on and so forth. What is Nairobi doing proactively to help the landowners? And many of them, like Tiras told us, are not even in the city.
Okay, I would say about the migration, that is a national government agenda, but because it's also affecting the county government, you have been talking to our people through public sensitization. You see, Nairobi County has its own land, which it issues titles in collaboration with the national government. When we issue these titles, we always enlighten our people. Please make sure you enumerate your title in the Adisasa system so that you can be able to do transaction on the same. For those people with the old titles, because we have indentures, very heavy booklets in form of a title that were given back in those 1920s. We have also the RTA title. These big booklets, they are long titles. People don't, they are certificate of titles. Those are the ones I think that people should now understand. You should convert to the new system, the new land registration system 2012, so that it's compatible with the Adisasa system.
So if I want to convert my title, you've said there's tutorials on YouTube, but first of all, what's the website? Where do I go? Adisasa? And then?
Well, for conversion of the title, you see your lawyer. It's only the lawyer who can do that process for conversion. For the adding of your property to the Adisasa system, that is adding your title. There is a tutorial that guides on that. And even if you don't get it clear, the people who can take you through is the people in the Ministry of Lands, because that is their system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you said, as much as it's national government, yes, it is affecting county government. So I think there's a push there that needs to be done, like Eric was saying, to have this information out there and out there in your face. Like the way you advertise, for example, there's times when you do waivers on penalties, and it'll be everywhere you see, and everyone is rushing because they've seen there's a waiver on penalties. Same way, that energy, should be used when letting people know that you need to register to come on to Adisasa, register your parcel. You need to migrate from the old to the new, all of that. But there was another question on land issues. Which one was it? Sorry, Eric.
I can see one. Wainaina is saying, you've made subdivisions of plots very hard. Kindly help us. Block 117. Make it at least 110,000 to process at least title.
I think that okay, I would want to clarify something here, Latif. What happens in Nairobi, we have the private land. We have also the land that the county have. For that block 117, that is Kahawa Committee Farmers. For you to go through to do a subdivision, I don't think whatever he's quoting is that much. Because you only need to apply to the county government, the technical committee for approval, which is 10,000. I think he'll take us through on the amount.
Wainaina is actually saying, make it at least 100,000 per plot. So it appears that it is much higher than 100,000.
No, I think that person needs to get their facts right.
Come on, I teach you more than this, Ajue UC County.
Probably the person charging him that is the private consultant who has to submit the application for them. But we are rolling out a robust regularization program, LATIF. We are going to station our officers at our various sub-county offices, the 17 sub-county offices. This Kahawa West area is one of our target areas. You know, there's a lot of misinformation and lack of clarity, or even in terms of fees and charges. We are coming for them. The act has already been, the law has been passed, the 2025 law. We've developed the regulations. We are telling them to come with whatever they have. Any document they have, we'll be able to assist them. But for purposes of clarity and record, for Kahawa West, a single subplot, we charge 10,000 Kenya shillings. That's the money that goes to the county. But then the fees are, the application has to be submitted by a private consultant, a physical planner, and they can negotiate that. They can bargain with them.
Oh, so there's a physical planner fee as a consultant, and then there's a Nairobi
County.
levy,
Nairobi County is only
10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Somebody else, Cecilia, on Juja Road, Vegande, he says, our building in Juja Road was demolished last year by land grabbers who had acquired a fake title using the change from LR to block. We had been paying land rates and all the taxes, but we found that they had changed.
Okay, that is what I was saying. Information is power. They should come to us. If you have a issue in place, we handle case by case. For a case like that, they need to come to us so that you also verify how was that title issued. Because you see, registration of titles is national government. As we only manage rates and many other things. But we also use the same titles to upgrade our database. So I think we need to address a case by case. Right. But in general, that is what we are advising people. Ensure your title is converted so that somebody does not take advantage of that gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone is asking, which YouTube channel is it that I'll get the tutorials? Masai Moran. Masema kuna tutorial. I'd like to watch it.
Yeah.
Where?
So you can check and then
It's
let us know before the
it is actually named Add Property. It's a very nice tutorial. It takes you through on where you start, how you open another account as a private person, how you add your titles even if you have 20, and they are all converted. But you have to convert first.
Okay.
You have to have converted titles to the current Legislation Act 2012.
Okay, I've seen Masai Moja. I've seen the channel is Arthi Sasa, and the video is called Arthi Sasa Add Property Tutorial. It's only 6 minutes 28 seconds long.
Nice.
Okay. And there's a graphic, it just takes you through it. Yeah, Arthi Sasa, and this is the Arthi Sasa channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on from land, there was even a story we were covering earlier today of the Makongeni demolitions. And the ministry said, you know what, we've paid up, I think, 150,000 to tenants in Makongeni. Question, when there are these basically forced evictions, who values the land, one? And how is that arrived at? Does county government have any role to play, or is this a matter of national government, specifically with Makongeni and others as well? So yeah, who determines the value of the land and the value of compensation, and how does that process go about, and what's county's role in this?
I would just want to respond to that briefly, because the land we are talking about, Makongeni, it is a national government under Kenya Railways, and they can either decide to use the valuers from the county government or the national government, because we still have valuers there. However, the fee we are talking about, the 150,000, that is called some like displacement fee to enable you to rent a house. As you wait for this to be completed, you come back. I think that's something they were promised they should get. It is also being done in the county government, but there's just a fee to enable you to rent a house somewhere. Then
is
after the houses are done,
by the county?
No, it's paid by the national government. That's purely a national government agenda. However, we also have a law, because that's a land within Nairobi. The approvals has to be done by our planning department. So we work in collaboration. But about the eviction, the displacement, that is purely national government. Our time is still there to come for approving of the buildings.
I think I would want to add by saying that that decision is preceded by public participation. And that's a standard requirement for all the affordable housing program areas or the urban renewal housing programs by the county government of Nairobi. They are elected leaders in those areas. Those housing schemes have representatives. And whatever money you see being disbursed, that is what has been discussed in the public participation meetings. But I think also it's important for you to even mention what the PS housing said, that the current tenants will be given priority. They'll be given priority once their needs have been completed. Yeah.
Like I said yesterday in our discussion around this, it sits on communication. So if the process had taken place for long, the original tenants were engaged by the Railway Pensions Fund, by the National Government, State Department for Housing, the figure of 150 had been communicated and they had been paid and accepted, then there were people who left the houses and sublet the houses to other people who are not aware. There was a huge opportunity there, just create a lot of awareness that these houses are going to be demolished on the 29th of November. Do not move into these houses. They are earmarked for demolition for affordable housing program. If you don't communicate, somebody like we featured a Mr. Was it Munyao Mariam, who had moved from one area where his house had been demolished in the Nairobi Regeneration Project. He has moved into Makongeni, taken a lease. Kidogo, he's being called, he's been told we have demolition. It's communication. And I put it on all governments, national government, county government, communication,
Right.
which is the same issue that George Derito is raising here on communication. The Nairobi County does not post or issue the yearly run rates, but they are quick to bombard you with rate demands with a 600% hike on penalties. In my case, the original rate was 3,900. They are now demanding 25,465. Cecilia, talk to George Derito. Who is it?
This one Tiras to the
Ni mtu wa pesa.
ni pesa.
Actually, every single year, like right now, in October, we already put out a notice advising Nairobians that land rates are going to be due on 1st January. And we ran that, I think, on this print media nation. So after that, around 31st of December and on 1st of January, every single person whose contact we have, we also inform them on message the amount of land rates that are due to them. And after that, every so often, even maybe the last 1 week or so, we ensure that we keep updating people that you owe us this amount and how you're going to pay it, be it on Nairobi Pay, be it on coming to the customer service or in any of our other customer service centers, be it in Roi, be it in Dandora, be it in Umoja, be it in Makadara, or even in the sub-county offices. We actually are ensuring that every so often we are reminding Nairobians about their duty. We don't bombard. In fact, even before we come to you, we will attempt as much as possible to serve a demand notice.
Latif,
even on print.
I think, Latif, just to amplify what Tiras is saying, we have a whole sector of customer service and public relations.
You're out in the sour. George Derito was not aware of all those things. That's why he's saying 3,900, now you're asking for 25,465, right?
Yeah.
So are you now blaming it on George? Come on a TV show.
No. I've told you, we make all attempts possible.
Okay.
Even messages. SMS. Yes.
To the known land.
To
land
anyone who's
the last known address.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where our people know where you live, we will actually deliver it to you.
All right.
So isn't that even the abundance of...
But Latif, you can also ask George Derito to come and see, Tiras after.
That's the point I was driving at. So George, come to City Hall. And
come to the customer service.
Come to the customer service. There's an entire swanky customer service center at City Hall. Go in there.
You love it.
They say you'll find young and, digital and energetic people who will tell you,
to quote them, customer service itawashtua. The level of customer service itawashtua.
Yeah.
You see, it depends with where George is located.
Okay.
We have devolved even the customer care service.
All right.
We have one in Luai, one in Umoja, one in Dandora, City Hall, and we are also devolving others. So it depends with where he is. Okay. You will be able to get that information.
Sorry, Ruai, Dandora, City Hall,
and
Umoja
one.
Makadara.
Yeah.
Okay, sawa.
Okay.
There's a whole half of Nairobi and South, but that's another. I know you're planning on devolving. Yeah. Let's move to markets now. County function, but national government has also been getting involved. We've talked about markets in Nairobi, the planning around them, modernizing them, having them be proper markets. Where are we with that? And I say proper markets, not just a clean market, but a modern one that is an e-commerce center. I know we spoke to the governor about the same.
Yeah. First of all, I want to appreciate governor's vision for Nairobi, a vision of order, dignity, hope, and opportunities. And so for us in markets, that's what every day we wake up, everything we do, it's geared to address that. And so there was need for us to organize our markets. For a long time, we had old markets. They were in like 4 sub-counties. But right now we are coming up, we are constructing new modernized markets across Nairobi. Like if you go to Mutwini, we are having a market that is at about 80-85% complete. We have Karen Market that is coming up. You go to Embakasi, we have Jujo Market, and on Thika Road we have Kahawa West Market. So all these markets are to bring order and to dignify spaces for our traders. And in these markets now, it's not just a market. We have very functioning markets where we modernize even the facilities. In these markets, we are going to make sure that at least there is water, the drainage systems are working. For our mothers, you don't have to stay at home now when you have an infant. We are having daycares within our markets. And then just to make sure that we don't lose a lot of food in our food produce markets, we are installing cold rooms, you know, just to preserve our foods. So these are the things that are exciting for our traders, because before you wouldn't even have proper working toilets. And that's what we are doing.
You know, whenever we talk about a market, just like with the affordable housing program, we think about the structure and the services inside.
Yes.
Now, how far have we thought about the services around it? So, for instance, transport to and from the market, matatu routes, matatu terminal, parking facilities for anybody who wants, the trucks that deliver goods and pick goods from this market, and any other, you know, smallholder retailers who may want to drive to the market and so on and so forth. Is that part of, like now if we go to Kahawa West, will I get parking? Is there a nearby bus stop? Ama unataka ninunue mboga, nipigane na boda nikitafuta stage?
So when you look at our markets and how we even, after the public participation, a market you have to involve multi-sectoral, you know. We have mobility because traders will, even business people want to sell to where there is population. So we must make sure that at least there's a bus stop, like a terminus. We also make sure that we have enough parkings inside and outside. And remember, our markets are segmented. We have wholesale markets where even in the design stage, we design it knowing that there are trucks that are going to come in. So we have wholesale markets, we have retail markets, and all that is thought from the initial stages. And how do we work on the whole ecosystem within and around that market? So all that we put into consideration.
All right, and then there's an entire population in this city, like people keep saying, Nairobi hatukuja kuhesabu magari. We came to make money, to trade, right? So yours is a crucial department. So there's an entire population that will not be trading in the market. They want to trade elsewhere. So there we have hawkers.
Yeah.
And hawkers want a space to trade. We've had all these past and even present administrations talking about designated places for hawkers and all. Hawkers are looking for a place that has foot traffic. As people are walking, they'll buy umbrellas, books, clothes, shoes, and so on and so forth. What's the plan for hawkers?
We appreciate hawkers. To us, we deal with them as small-scale traders, you know, and they have a role to play in building our economy. And so for us, we acknowledge that they are there and they follow traffic. But when you come to CBD, and we are talking about Nairobi being the city, the green city under the sun, it must have some order. And that's why we have designated spaces for them. And we've told them, okay, you can come in the CBD, but at least we have identified these back lanes, you know, that you can trade from, and sensitize Nairobians that now we have an organized hawking system and where to find them. So right now we are working with the hawkers, the leadership, just to make sure at least we settle them at the back streets, and we also encourage the Nairobians now to also reach them out at the back street, just to bring order around how we do business in the CBD.
It sounds okay, but it sounds like you're hiding hawkers. You know, like take them to the back street, which is already a road that's being used by those who are trading along that street. So you've blocked access for many people on the back street, number one. Number two, are you providing water, are you providing sanitation for the hawkers in that back street?
Yeah, we are not hiding them. because we acknowledge that the spaces here in the CBD are limited, you know, and Nairobians are the first people who are complaining that we can't even walk in the pathways because you're walking and you're stepping on a mama selling avocados, you know, you're walking and somebody's just hitting you with all these things that they are selling. We acknowledge that our back streets are not hidden. They are just behind the buildings, and we have identified the ones that are walkable. And if you have gone, I don't know when you went to the back streets, we have even rehabilitated the roads. We have a way of now we want to lighten those back streets and make them at least working spaces for these people. We'll have where they can put their trash, the garbage. We'll have the water points, you know, very nice shades just to protect our hawkers from the sun, just to dignify the working space.
Which back streets, specifically the ones you've identified and have already rehabilitated?
Have you walked to the Moy Lane?
Moy Lane, like behind Moy Avenue?
Yes.
No, not recently.
There's a road, we have rehabilitated that road, Luthuli Avenue, you know. Most of the back lanes from the Tomboya streets, they are going down. They are rehabilitated, and we continue to do that.
I'm trying to understand. Like a back lane is like Dubois, Kama hiyo ni back lane. Okay, and ilikuwa Dubois juzi. Looks the same as it has for a while.
Unapata hawkers?
No, Dubois.
But Latif, maybe if I could chip in a little bit, Latif. Central business districts all over the world, over cities that are growing like ours, are meant for central business activities. They are the face of the city or the country. The long-term plan for Nairobi is to create adequate markets. Remember, I talked about population dispersal. The land use plan we have for Nairobi is to minimize people coming to the central business district. We have a bigger problem in this city other than even hawkers. We have parents who wake up at 3 a.m. to cut through one area of the city to the other. So eventually, these hawkers we keep discussing, and this is not a conversation for this administration alone. Even the Modhurwa market, you see, was purchased from the Kenya Railways during President Kibaki's administration for the hawkers market. This problem has constantly been there, and it's an African city problem. In the long term, the hawkers in the central business district will have to go to formal markets where there are all those facilities. But for the time being, as Chief Wangui is indicating, we have what we call designated lanes. But Latif, I also remember having discussed this with you initially. There is a census that the county government had done for the city of Nairobi. And we had almost over 5,000 people who are hawking in the central business district. We realized actually almost half of that population are not from Nairobi. They are Kenyans, yes, but they are not from Nairobi. They bring
not from Nairobi means they do not sleep in Nairobi.
They come from other counties.
They come to trade in Nairobi.
Yes.
So they're Nairobi traders.
Yes.
And they're paying rates to Johnson here.
No, we don't charge.
They don't pay, unfortunately. They are not paying, but they're trading.
Okay.
They're leaving trash here. And there are also common elements of criminality in that.
So what do you want to do?
So what you are saying is that in the long run, we must have these people in planned markets. In estates, in areas that they can, provide those commodities, but in planned settlements.
I hear you.
We cannot convert a whole central business district to an open-air market.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But when? You see...
This is a gradual, I said it's an African problem.
Since the last time we spoke, Patrick, the people who come to trade in Nairobi have increased by 1 million.
But since the last time we spoke, we have almost completed about 3 markets. A good percent of that population is going there. Wangui is going to talk about
Wangui, Taveta Lane are the ones that we're talking about, the back lanes. Because I think I've been to Taveta Lane. On one side here is matatus that are just jostling for space, both within Nairobi and to get out of Nairobi. And then in between buildings on Taveta Lane is hawkers who've come there. All right? Wangui is talking about tumetenga, tutafanya. Tutaweka waste management. Tutaweka lighting. Tutaweka maji. Those people are there today. So what's the today solution for hawkers in Nairobi?
And we have a long-term. We have a long-term plan, and that's why we are doing these modern markets for them, because even you can't hawk forever. You need a dignified space where you know that I can go open my stall and sell from there. But now, because this is a problem, and Chief Analo has alluded to it, how do we accommodate the hawkers? And majority of even these hawkers, they have stalls somewhere else, but they still come and hawk. Why? Because they follow traffic.
Yep.
And so at the back lanes, we have designated specific back lanes for them, but we also acknowledge that there are some matatus that also operate from there. And we had to think through and see how do we coexist between the matatus and the hawkers because of the limited spaces that we have at the back lanes. So that is progressive. It is a step that we have started, and we are working towards it, and we want to appreciate our hawkers who are freely now settled at the back lanes. For the ones who keep on coming to the front, to Koinange streets, there is even a time you would find a mama just boiling maize in Koinange Street, and yet it's a CBD. Please let us also become responsible citizens where at least we know that there's designated lanes that we can sell from. We are there to listen to you. What is these amenities that you need? And we work together. There's also a time...
Sorry, I foresee a problem
where
even when the markets are completed and ready for use, these hawkers may not want to move. Like you said, they follow traffic. Yeah. Where is the traffic? Iko Taveta Road, iko Dubois, iko Moi Avenue. Does that fix take that into account? The markets will be modern, and I think for things like vegetables, nyama here and there, where there's a cold room, people will come. So you'll be able to get your groceries. But for the person selling a handkerchief, selling some boxes, selling the thing for squeezing lemons, tutapatana tu nao CBD wakiuza umbrella.
Nikiingia matatu.
Waende pali tumewadesignatia. Tumeshawatafutia where they can sell the handkerchiefs. But it's a culture that we need to, at least even us, a mind change. That even for you to buy a handkerchief, pahali tu umetokezea na ni hapa Kencom, just change that culture so that we also promote and let our hawkers be in the designated backlanes, you know.
And I can't change a culture of wanting convenience.
No, you see now you bring...
It is wanting convenience. And actually the challenge is not majorly on you. The challenge is on Analo here and the planning.
I wanted to respond to Mariam's question.
If you don't remove these matatus from here and create traffic elsewhere, then Wangui's markets will be empty.
And that's what I wanted to say. Let me tell you.
Tell us.
Once you decongest the central business district, you will not see the hawkers. The traders will follow the trade. And there's a grand plan. There's a grand plan. We are doing BRT. We are doing the LRT. Some of the things that are going to be done in the city of Nairobi. Let me just finish, Latif. You saw the programs the president announced in the State of the Nation address. Some of them are centered on the city of Nairobi. Once the traffic in the central business district has been decongested, Governor Sakaja tried that 2-3 years ago, Latif, and you know what happened. You know the rallies that were, the public political meetings that were, called to oppose that. But finally, we have to do it again. And as I said, for me, I think I look at the central business district as a place to do business that is acceptable by international standards. But at the same time, we appreciate the role of the informal sector in the city of Nairobi. These guys are earning a living, they are fending for families, but they must also have decent places to live, to work. They must also appreciate there are guys inside the shops who are paying for licenses, they are paying electricity, they have employees to pay. They also need space to do business, Latif. And you need to support that. They need to decongest the central business district.
We support that, Patrick. You just don't. You're slow in implementation of these plans. I think that's the issue. You plus NAMATA, the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, plus everybody else has been talking about BRT for years. They painted the road. Mariam, remember Thika Road was painted pink.
Yes. I don't remember what color it was, but there was a...
They told us they are doing line 1 is complete. Coming from where? They went ahead and did those things in the middle of Thika Superhighway. Their bus stops. That thing is dead, gone. It is not just you, Patrick, as a person. It is the government of Nairobi, the national government, together, those offices just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it makes work harder for Wangui and Johnson, who are dealing with the traders, the people who've come to Nairobi to earn a living, and they want to earn an honest living. in a dignified manner. I want to be dignified, and if Wangui comes and tells me this is your spot and you'll be paying something, Tiras will see money flowing. People want to do that.
But Latif,
if the service is not being provided,
Latif, public participation also is very painstaking.
Okay.
This is a democratic.
So you've been doing public participation for 10 years.
There's a whole continuum of issues that have to be done before you implement
Patrick,
what
let me
you
do a
want.
check-in.
We can't just wake up one day and say, now from today henceforth, no more getting into the central business district.
Let's do a check-in.
How do you sort out?
Realistically, Patrick, because like everyone has said, BRT, the idea of a BRT, I've been hearing about it for a long time. So I think we should be past the public participation phase. But let me use, for example, a timeline. When Governor Sakaja was here, he said phase 1 of the BRT by 2027. To go 2025 December, where it's November, but it's basically December already. How far are we with that, so that by 2027 we can be seeing a phase 1 of a BRT?
Yeah, the first one, of course, is a long Thika road. It's gonna come all the way from almost Thika town up to drive-in. That's where we have the terminal facility for the interchange between the drive-in into the central business district. But also equally, linked to that, Mariam, I tried to mention this earlier to you, that there's significant improvement that you are doing in the central business district to improve walkability.
Yes.
We see one of the other arguments about central business district, the discussion around hawkers, is to make the CBD a place where people can walk
Easily.
and enjoy.
Yeah.
The county government of Nairobi has spent an entire 270 million to do the expansion of Moi Avenue from the railway station terminus all the way up to University of Nairobi. We've done the Kencom area. We've done the Ambassador area. We are doing Kimathi Street. We are completing what NMA started on Kenyatta Avenue. And when you come to this town on Saturdays and Sunday, Latif, about 2-3 years, this was a ghost town on weekends. But what you have done in the central business district has really brought life back into the central business district on weekends.
That's true. And credit, by the way, to the
So yes, I know we are a bit
that.
slow, but I think it's better to be slow but sure. Yes.
We give you a flowers on that. I mean, when you walk around the city and you see the young people with cameras creating content on weekends, on weekdays.
It is until this administration, Governor Sakaja scrapped a whole revenue stream of advertising licenses, just to allow these young people to enjoy their city, to create content, and it has made the CBD safer.
It's an economy as well, because I think of the number of young people right now who just
I know my
take
sister
photos.
I know my sister who will never come to the central business district on Sunday because they fear they'll be robbed. But now they come freely, and there's a ripple effect of what the county government has done to the central business district.
We give flowers where they're due. And I've said it before, even scrapping this idea of needing, licenses or whatever to take pictures in the CBD. There's a whole economy around that now, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
You've also forgotten to mention that you see the painting that is going on in the central business district. I
was about to ask that.
I'll check
buildings.
for buildings. I'll also check if this building has also complied to that when we finish this show. You must also appreciate the small gains that you are making that have a big impact. Because again, His Excellency the Governor waived the fee for licenses for painting, and significantly. Even an iconic building like I&M, those guys have done the painting. The whole of Kinjabe Street, I went there the other weekend. Half of it has been painted. And these are small things that we're really doing to improve the central business. We removed all the kiosks, the shoe shiners and what have you. We cleared them. We cleared the signages that were overhanging the streets. And I think gradually, Latif, once we finish fixing the cabros and the street lighting and the landscaping.
And the manholes.
Yes, and of course the manholes. The CBD would really be first class as we aspire it to be.
Coming back into trade and licensing, and Wangui and Johnson will respond to this one. We have the majority of Kenya's population, and therefore Nairobi's population, is young people, and they're looking at various ways of trading. The old days of having somebody in a shop is not the only way that people are trading in Nairobi nowadays. So how are you supporting, not talking about now from living, but how are you supporting the new age traders and business people in this city who would like to trade, to earn a living, and to advertise their goods and services?
One, we appreciate that the creative economy and the creative industry is coming in. Matters trade licensing, we license a premise, you know. Virtually
not
we
a
are
business.
not a business, but it has to be in a premise, you know, because in that premise is where you get services. Yeah. But virtually, we are not able to tax them anything because that we leave to national government, maybe KRA, to do that. So that is our way of supporting them. We also, in our way of developing trade, we capacity build them and look at what can we support them. Is it the tools of trade? Yeah, what are the programs that we have put in place to support that? Is it skilling them? So we do a lot in trade and industry.
Okay, so let me give you examples. So a young person who is very good in fashion and actually are able to make garments, but not to a scale where they want to open a shop and be in there. Thinking around amalgamating such places so that you can have a store that is serving more than one. They are trading online, but they are able to come into their facility here, wanashona nguo hapa, wanaziweka hapa as storage, and then this is a warehouse, sort of. So you are, creating such, and in here as well there is internet connectivity and all that. This is a market, but another way of a market. So you're not just thinking about soko ni ya mboga na vitunguu, but soko pia, yeah, this kind of
Eric, if I'm not wrong, that was part of the plan for markets. Yeah. The internet connectivity, for sure. Yeah. And I remember us pushing back on why the internet will be separate from where the physical market is.
Right.
There was that. But now to have a place where, yes, I can come do my trade, not just, that could be sewing, could be building, construction, could be, building and construction, something with materials. That I don't know if we've had before.
Yeah.
But then...
An aggregation center. Yeah. You see, like we have KIPES in the other rural counties, an aggregation center for Nairobi traders. Yeah. I can come in here, I will find sherahani, nishone nguo yangu. I don't have to buy a sherahani. Yeah. I don't have to buy to pay for storage. Nakuja napata sherahani, I just pay for a small cubicle that I'll store my stuff and come and go, supporting such. Yeah,
that is what we are also doing in trade and industry. We call them common user facilities, where you have a common product, like kushona nguo. We offer them machines, and we had even brought machines where now they come, washone hapo, we skill them, and even look for markets for them. When you come also to Nairobi, we are doing the first ever county aggregation center, industrial center in Wangui. And this will focus mainly on our artisans who deal with wood and metal. We find them along Gong Road, Mombasa Road, Thika Road. We want to have a common facility where everything, even the specialized machinery, is put by the county government to be able to support them in their businesses. You look at how does China or these other global markets beat us, because sometimes even when you buy something from a trader, you look at how they have carved. The carvings are not the same. Maybe kuna mguu moja inainama kidogo. So in our county aggregation industrial park, we'll have these specialized machineries, just to support these artisans to be able to even help them compete locally and globally.
That's a beautiful idea. Give me a timeline.
Right.
We are starting the county aggregation industrial park. We are doing it in this financial year. We've identified the land. Yeah, we are now in the feasibility study, and we've been working a lot in terms of the designs and what have you. We would have started last year, in the last financial year, but the land that we had identified in Madare, just near Utali, on Thika Road, was the land terrain was not very conducive for that industrial park. But we are ready. We are starting this financial year.
And also to add, maybe Nairobi is the Silicon Savannah, if I may call it so. And we also have a whole subsector called digital economy and startups. Because other than, kushona nguo and all that, you also want to get the outlet for that. And, it's not just in Nairobi. you want to get the next Louis Vuitton from here. And it just starts from that person being able to operate digitally. So that subsector is in all our vocational training centers, and they are also here just to ensure that they can skill the young men digitally, and just ensure that they are ready for, we are already in the new age, and just to ensure that they are not left behind. And so that whatever you're producing there, then you have the skills to be able to market it across the globe, and even to help bring up more developers, that is guys who can develop systems and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
What Tiras has said, Nairobi County has gone digital, and even within our markets, we are developing a market integrated information system where it can link up markets from the farmer to the trader to the customers, such that you'd know what Marikiti is selling, Skuma, what City Park is selling their fruits, and you can be able to order online. Nowadays, you don't have to walk there. So we have gone digitally, and that's how we are supporting our traders.
As you do the aggregation centers and the common user facilities, I think libraries are also very low-hanging fruit. I know they are a national government function, but I think counties as well can work there. I've seen libraries that are aggregation centers now for tech, because again, you have the physical infrastructure, now you just need it. So whether it's 3D printing, whether it's computers, things like that. But Johnson, we haven't heard much from you on trade licensing within Nairobi County. The Unified Business Permit, big win for the county, I would say, has made things a lot easier. What significant change have you seen now with the Unified Business Permit? And again, what does it apply to? Or what kind of business? Because there's a lot of people listening and saying, do I get a Unified Business Permit? Ama mimi zangu lazima niende 5 offices.
Okay, under Unified Business Permit, we consolidated the 6-number permit stroke. Some were permits, some were licenses. So in our first phase, we consolidated the 6 permits. And these 6 permits are single business permit, which used to be issued as a standalone permit. We have fire certificates. We have pest control. We have health certificate and small format advertisements. So we consolidated this under one trade license that we call now Unified Business Permit. And it's working very well, because what you need to do, you just need to visit www.nairobiservices.go.ke and follow 12 simple steps to be able to generate now
12
the invoice, and then you pay using your mobile phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, 12 ni nyingi,
So
lakini
12 is the first time. So what
12 ni ya kulipa, Eric.
12 simple steps to
create
generate
account,
an invoice.
1 step.
Yes.
Create password, 2 step.
Yeah, they are not 12. I counted them, they are 12. And we are calling them simple.
How long does it take? Like, have you timed it? How long does it take for me to go through the 12 steps?
To go through the 12 steps, just like 20 minutes, you are done.
All right. So
20 or less. Yes.
So I'm looking at them and I'm seeing single business permit, okay, the fire, pest control, health. What is the health permit?
Health permit used to be issued from Public Health Directorate.
Okay.
Yes.
And
they were, in fact, they are health, pest control, and food hygiene.
And food hygiene.
They used to be issued by Public Health Directorate.
Now they are all
now we consolidated them. So instead of moving from one office, from Trade Licensing Directorate for SBP, then going to Public Health Directorate for those 3, then going to City Planning, we consolidated them together, and then you are just supposed to get them at one-stop center, which is the customer care, or just use your phone to register and apply for them.
So different permits apply to different businesses.
Yes.
So when you're asking about health, the person who is selling clothes will not need that.
Who is selling
clothes will not need that. But then the person who is selling, who is in a kitchen somewhere in a
definitely needs food and hygiene.
We also make it easier for you because provided you just give us your business, then we give you all the licenses you need. So no one will come in tomorrow to tell you that you also need this and also this. We have put them all together very nicely.
Okay. We have a business concept here. We call it Mariam Caterers, where Mariam, after COVID, went into her passion of cooking. And it became a business, and it's a big business. So where she does catering now, and she supplies food to employees at Nation Media along Kimathi Street, does supply people at their homes, you know, food, single people who just want a meal plan and so on and so forth. It's growing.
Yeah.
So this, Mariam Caterers just needs one UBP, right?
It's just one UBP.
This will serve.
Yeah, depending on that business activity.
That's the business activity.
Yes.
Nauza.
Nauza to my colleagues here at Nation Media, and then along Kimathi, my neighbors at home.
There are certain business activities that require only 3: single business permit, fire, and pest control. But just the way...
Food handling also.
And food handling, yes.
Okay. And the advertisement. Yes. So advertisement is ni wapi?
Advertisement is a small format.
Advertisement. What
yes,
is that?
These are the signages that you see. For example, if you're operating a barber shop, and it's by the name Johnson, Johnson Barber Shop. So it is a signage. So that's what we are talking about. It's a small format because it's just a signage.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
so if you have that one, then you need to include it when you are doing the application. During the application process, you need to select the signage because you have one. Okay. And then the system is going to charge you.
Okay.
Yes.
People have complained about when you are, say, Mariam now gets a vehicle, and she'd like the vehicle to be branded, Mariam Caterers, so that what we do in Mariam Caterers, does she need to apply for an extra permit?
Yes.
Why? No, it's small business.
I already...
But
small format
she does not
advertisement.
own the door one. This is her door.
Yeah.
That's a mobile advert.
Yeah. That's a mobile advert. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you see the discrepancy? If I had a big sign on top, if I had a premises, a physical one, and a big sign that says Mariam Caterers, that would fall under the small format advertising, which would fall under my unified business permit.
Yeah. Yes.
But then if it's on my car, and I write Mariam Caterers on the side of the car, that now becomes a mobile advert that requires a different one.
Yeah.
You see the problem? Ease of compliance.
And here is the thing, Mariam. If you deliver to a customer in Kabete, you have entered Kiambu, they'll charge you for it.
Yes.
Or if your caterer is in Kabete and you're supplying to people in Nairobi, who are you paying to license to?
So you see, Latif, I think what Johnson has said, the innovation that has come with the UBP, which was not there earlier, all this information is on a drop-down.
Yeah.
So it's incumbent upon you to select. If you know you have both the small signage and you also want your vehicle branded, you pick the two. If you think that you not brand the vehicle, because after all, your customers, you know where they are and they are calling or they are specific people, you don't need to brand your vehicle, then you'll exempt this. But you know, if you know that as you transport the food, you're also advertising. Because remember, we are not charging only for the cutter. If you exempt this person, the guy also selling Coca-Cola, and as their vehicles branded, you get into problems with those ones. So you don't legislate for one person, you look at the entire. So the drop down, I think for me, the drop down has really changed things. Because the confusion that was there has really been, and people are, it's like a what do you call that? Self-declaration.
Self-declare.
Okay. Just a quick one. Anthony Mbogwa is asking, what licenses do food delivery bodabodas need to operate in the CBD, using Mariam Caterers as an example? Sawa. So I'm based in Thome or wherever. I'm delivering to the CBD. I'm using my bodaboda guy.
Yes, you are required to apply for what we call catering license. It's catering. So you just need to go there and then apply, then select catering services. Yes.
So a catering license to
deliver
food
then
via
where we have the plot number now, instead of indicating the plot number, you indicate the number of that motorcycle or that vehicle. Now becomes the plot number.
Okay. I'm seeing I need to integrate a lot of the changes because essentially I'm not a caterer. The boda boda is not catering. I am the caterer. This is just a food delivery thing. So there's a whole new ecosystem here that's kind of being left out. But we're completely out of time. I think we have a minute or less. But thank you so much for making time for us this morning. We've gotten to discuss quite a bit around Nairobi County Government. And I know we'll do more. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. Still a lot of work that you guys are doing that we need to talk about. So let's keep the conversation going. But asanteni sana sana sana. Hashtag Fixing the Nation NTV. We absolutely have to run. Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, tupatane kesho asubuhi.